friends, welcome to my full review of the Colored Raine Queen of Hearts palette. I'm so happy to bring you some indie brands for my full reviews. I don't know about you, but some of these bigger brands I feel like are kind of coming out with the same things over and over again, just different packaging. So it's great to be able to review some indie brands that have some innovative, interesting ideas. So Colored Raine is a brand that I have been very interested in for a while, but I've never splurged to buy anything from them. Thankfully, my friend Nancy, who sends me things occasionally, was kind enough to purchase this for me. It showed up in my mailbox. I was like, yes! So excited about this. So thank you, Nancy, for the gift. I really appreciate it. And now I am going to review it thanks to her. So let's talk about what you get in this palette. It is $50. You can get it at the Colored Raine website. There are also some stores in New York and Florida and one in Manchester, England, where you can purchase these. If you go to their website, they have a link of all of the locations where you can purchase them. I know that mine was purchased at coloredraine.com. In this palette, you do get a mirror. It goes most of the way across. There's about an inch on either side here, about half an inch on the top or bottom. You get 6 matte shades and 6 shimmer, or they call them foiled shadows. That's the word that they use. They are mixed through the palette. It's not like you have the mattes on one side, the shimmers on the other, or the foileds, I should say, on the other. The names of the shadows are very royal. So we've got Crown, Royal Highness, Your Majesty, Princess, Empress, Queen Mother, and it goes on and on like that. Each pan has 1.5 grams of product in it, which is a good size for an eyeshadow pan. Typically, I like to see eyeshadow pans about 1 gram. Any more than that is bonus. It is a cardboard packaging. It does have a magnetic closure here. On the back is a sticker that says Colored Raine and all of the ingredients there and some specifics to the product. So talking about that it is made in the USA. It is a cruelty-free product, by the way, but it is not fully vegan. It's mostly vegan. There's actually just one shade in here that is not vegan, and that's the shade Ladyship. It does have carmine in it, but other than that, this is a vegan product. Again, it's made and distributed from the United States of America. Like I mentioned earlier, there's 1.5 grams of product in each pan, leading us to 18 grams of product total here. It is a $50 palette, so therefore it is $2.77 per gram, which is very reasonable for a Sephora brand, Ulta Prestige brand product. So it's comparable to those. It's comparable in value to, let's say, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar palette. It's a little less expensive in price per gram than the Urban Decay Naked palettes. So now that we've gone into a little bit about this product, I know you're excited to see swatches, so let's go ahead and get into those now.
All right, so here is the outer packaging of the Queen of Hearts palette. I wish it was a little more exciting on the outside, but that's okay. It's great on the inside, so look at all those pretty colors. Now, I did have to refilm these swatches because the first time I did the swatches, they did not come out so good. So you'll see different nail polish kind of flipping back and forth for the reshoot. Let's talk about these finger swatches. They look really good on those first 2 shades, Crown and Royal Highness. They look a little less impressive for Air and Royal Prerogative, so I re-dipped in and did Air and Royal Prerogative again so you could get a better representation of what these look like when you pat them onto your lids with your fingertips. Now with Crown, I know it goes out of focus there for a second, but it'll come back. It does have an iridescence to this. I don't know if it's showing up very well, but there is an iridescence in there. I feel like Royal Highness is not swatching with a brush the way that it can go on the eye. You'll see that in the demo, how it goes on the eye, Royal Highness. It's a very, very nice shade. These two with brush swatches come out beautifully, Air and Royal Prerogative, and that's exactly how easy they are to work with. They're just beautiful, beautiful shades. So looking at this as a quad, you see that these are kind of your more natural looking shades, the ones that are closer to skin tones. And it's just beautiful to have these in here because it helps you to really give kind of a base for your look. So when you go in to play with those colors, you aren't overloaded with color. Going into what I call the second quad, we have Your Majesty, Princess, Noblewoman, and Ladyship. Your Majesty and Princess and Noblewoman finger swatch great. Ladyship swatches like doo-doo. Absolute doo-doo. It's horrible the way that it swatches, but again, in the demo, you'll see it applies much better to the eye than it swatches. Now going into the brush swatches, you'll see how beautiful Your Majesty is. It does take a little bit of building up, but it definitely brush swatches much better than Royal Highness. Princess is just as gorgeous as Air and Royal Prerogative. Just, oh, it's so pretty. Makes me so happy. And Noblewoman isn't quite as chunky as Royal Highness and Your Majesty, but it doesn't brush swatch very well at all. It does look quite a bit patchy, and you'll see with Ladyship, yeah, brush swatch, horrible. Looks like doo-doo. But applying to the eye, I'm telling you, it is not as bad. It's definitely my least favorite shade in the palette, but it still is functional. I don't want you to think just because these swatches look like doo-doo that it's not functional. It really, really is, and you can get a beautiful look using it. Now going into the fourth quad, I don't think these were meant to be used together. I'm calling them quads because I like to swatch things in fours, and this was the easiest way to make them into fours. Empress is this beautiful burnt orange shade, and I really like it a lot. I don't have a burnt orange that looks quite like this. It's really orange, and it's a fun color to work with. Queen Mother is another one that swatches pretty badly with a brush, but overall on the eye, it does look really nice, similar to some of the other shimmery shadows. I don't know why that's so out of focus. Sorry about that. Going into Duchess brush swatches beautifully, just like the other mattes in this palette. And then going into Dethrone, again, not as beautiful of a swatch with a brush, but it does really look nice on the eyes. Looking at these all together, these are kind of the fun shades that are going to help you deepen up your look. Queen Mother, Dethrone, and Duchess are going to help you to really create that deeper dimension where when you're looking at Your Majesty, Noblewoman, Princess, Ladyship, and Empress, those are the ones that are going to add your pops of color and really give you some varied looks in here. You can go into like the warm orangey Your Majesty and Empress look, or you can go into the purples with Noblewoman, Ladyship, and Queen Mother, or you can do a mix of both. Now, this is backed by popular demand, the wipe test, to see what happens when you overblend these shadows, and will these shadows stay around for a while. Now, looking at the first quad, the Crown, Royal Highness, Air, and Royal Prerogative, you can see Royal Prerogative hangs out the longest, and it's not too bad. It's not too bad. And then the second ones that I swatched, Your Majesty, Princess, Noblewoman, and Ladyship, those definitely hang around a lot longer. You can see if you overblend them, they're still going to be around. And look how Ladyship, how much that's still there. Even though it's swatched really badly, it definitely hangs around a long time. And in that base of those other shades, you do have a lot of brown, which is surprising. Going into the very last ones that I swatched, wipe that off, and you can see the pigmentation is still very much there on these last four shades. I mean, it's not going anywhere, and that just tells me that when I use these shades, they're not going to blend into the other colors. Also, they tend to hold on to their base color, except for Queen Mother turns a little bit gray.
Now that you've seen the swatches, let's go ahead and get into the demonstration of how these products apply to the eye. I'm going to show you how I got this look today.
Fastened, miles apart, the clouds I'm passing. Can help but wonder what I'm leaving. Can help but ask what I believe in. This turbulence is making me nervous. This distance, do I deserve this? I'd rather die than say goodbye. Who will catch me if I cannot fly? Cause when I'm up this side, it all makes sense. I'm looking down the road of consequence. And when I try to fly, I see I can. From where I stand, no longer the broken man. And that's not all. I'm not scared of landing, because when I fall, it'll be right into place. Time, but I got nothing. I left all my baggage behind. A change of scene, my conscience is clean. I've got no more need to rewind. The coast is clear, I have no fear, even from this high above. You hold my hand, now I let go. All I ever wanted was love. Cause when
So So now at this point you may be sold one way or another for this palette, but I do want to mention some things in the ingredient analysis that I found when I looked at the ingredients in the Colored Raine palette. Now I have to tell you, when I looked at the ingredient deck on this, I was very impressed with the cleanliness of the products, meaning not a lot of them turned up as red flags on environmentalworkinggroup.org, which is where I do my ingredient analysis check. So the first one that does show up only in the matte shades is Talc. Talc, I've talked about in every single one of these ingredient analysis. You're probably tired of me hearing about it, so I'll just do very quickly. The links are down in the description for Talc if you want to learn more about it. It can be an irritant for some people. There's also some data gap concerns. There is a bill in place to possibly look further into Talc and whether it is a carcinogen for us or whether it's harmful in any way, but that legislation has not gone through yet, so we'll keep you posted on that one. The next one is Phenoxyethanol, which is a preservative that I talk about again in every single one of these ingredient analyses, and it is a preservative. They use it instead of parabens, but it is also an irritant to some people. It is classified as being toxic or harmful for products around the mouth by the European Union, but Canada says that it is not toxic or harmful, so take that for what you will, whether you want to try putting these on your lips or not. I will tell you, you should not put the matte shades on your lips, and the reason why is because they do contain Yellow 5 Lake and also ultramarines, which are ones that we are told not to put on our lips, but that's only the matte shades. I don't know if the foiled shades are lip safe. If I find out that information from Colored Raine, I will put it in the description down below. I will try to find that out for you. So now let's go ahead and get into my full review of this product. Let me tell you, this is going to be a very positive review. I really have enjoyed working with this palette. One thing I love about this is the separation of color when it goes on the lids. A lot of the palettes I've been working with lately have just gone to straight mud on my lids. They're very difficult to work with. They blend out to weird shades, or they just kind of mush together into one color. I did not find that with this palette. I did use this palette on its own quite a few times. I also used it mixed with some other shadows, and man, did this thing perform well as far as lasting power and separation of color. Like, just amazing. Really, really, really good. I was also very impressed with the foiled shades, how they applied with a brush. The first time I ever saw this kind of formula was in the Jeffree Star Beauty Killer palette, the gold shade that's in there, and I did not find that applied well with a brush, but it did apply very well with the fingertips. I do think that these do apply a little bit better with the fingertips, but they're still workable with the brush if you're trying to get, you know, very, very small areas of your eye with these. You'll still be able to do that with a brush, which is fantastic. But if you are packing it all over the lids, you may want to consider using a fingertip. You can also use a sponge tip applicator, which can help with increasing the pigmentation in small areas. So that is with the foiled shades. Now with the matte shades, I feel like they just apply beautifully. I have no complaints about these matte shades. They just are gorgeous. They work so well. And the color selection in here is really, really good as far as how they have distributed the deep shades, middle shades, and light shades. My only complaint would be I wish that they included at least one more lighter shade. And that's just me being selfish, being a lighter skinned person. I wish that there was a lighter shade than Air and Princess that I could use for a brow bone shade. I just kind of feel like this palette wasn't really developed for my skin tone, and I'm cool with that because there are plenty of palettes that are developed for my skin tone. I feel like, honestly, if I have to recommend this to anyone, I would recommend it to someone that is deeper than me. I am a light medium, so anybody medium to deep is going to love this the most, but I would also recommend it to people my shade and lighter as well, because you can always bring in, like I did with the Anastasia contour kit, you can always bring in that one brow bone shade for blending if you really need it. But just know that this is not going to be a standalone palette, at least for me. For my light medium skin tone, I do have to reach in another palette for that that blending brow bone shade. One thing I also noticed about the foiled shadows that I did want to mention is you have to be really careful not to dig your brush in these. They're very soft. They're dimethicone based. They're very, very soft, and you can really dig up too much product if you're not careful. If you noticed in the demo, I'm not sure if it'll show up on camera, but I did have some fallout, and I think that was due to me digging too hard into the shadows. I was just getting excited, okay? I got a little excited and I got a little overzealous with the brush, pushing a little too hard. So just be aware of that if you do get this. But it's honestly It's a fantastic palette. I haven't been this impressed with a palette since the Juvia's Place palettes, since the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette. I mean, I feel like those have been the knockout stellar palettes. The Kat Von D Metal Matte palette I was really impressed with. It's been a while since I've loved a palette, and I feel like the shades in here have some uniqueness to them. It's not like anything else I have in my collection. The foiled shades are fun, and it's just fun to work with. I don't know if I would recommend this for a beginner though, unless you are of that medium to deeper skin tone. Then you'll probably be able to work with it as a beginner, but if you're lighter, it may be a little bit more difficult as far as the shade selection. If you like cool tones, you probably won't like this. If you like warm tones, which are very, very popular right now, you will probably absolutely love this. So that is it from my review of the Colored Raine Queen of Hearts palette. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, definitely make sure you share it with a friend who you think will also enjoy the video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed, and that thumbs up button that makes me look super cool in the YouTube algorithm. So definitely leave your thoughts and comments down below as well if you would like. I'm always loving to read what you have to say about the videos, about the palettes in general. If you own it, I'd love to hear what you thought of it. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Mad love, and I'll see you soon.